Why does everybody care so much about cleaned cards? Big controversy about a Justin Herbert Black Prism Finite, and we're going to talk all about it. Stick around. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. Another day, it is another card video. How is everybody doing? Hope that everybody is having an amazing day so far. It is almost the end of the week. I'm ready for the weekend, guys. I am going to New Orleans for the Saints versus the Bucks. Who dat? I am excited to get back to the Superdome after 2+ years. Haven't been there since the pandemic, believe it or not. So I am ready for this thing. Although I'm a little nervous, the Bucks looked pretty strong week one. So we'll see what happens. If you're new here and you're looking for all of the sports card collectibles type content pretty much every single day, then you have come to the right place, my friends. Hit the big red button down below the subscribe button. Please also hit the like button if you do like what you hear. It helps us to get the word out on the video and bring in more people to this thing. Also, connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad. It's where I share a lot of my pickups. I have fun. I'm learning how to use IG and making reels and stories and all that good stuff. So definitely check me out there. And I'm also on Twitter, the SportsCardDad. All right, so what are we talking about today? There is a very expensive, very rare Justin Herbert card who actually plays tonight against the Chiefs. Huge game. Justin Herbert, one of the big-time prospects right now in the NFL. The guy is lights out. There's something about his demeanor, too, that's just likable. You know, he's not very cocky. He just goes out there and just crushes it. So a lot of people on that Justin Herbert train, and there's an expensive, rare Prism version of his card that had a stain on it, is what it looks like. So I was watching AIH Sports video on this, and he was kind of going through it a little bit. I was looking at his IG as well. And so basically this is a thing where, from what I gathered, it had what looks to be a stain, and there was a cleaner, maybe a cleaner that was involved here that helped get the stain off. It's not taboo to use a microfiber cloth to wipe off fingerprints and dust and stuff like that. That's actually pretty common, and people do that as they're getting cards ready to get graded. Where it gets a little hairy is where you're changing kind of the card itself. Are you altering the card? And there's talk of, was there chemicals used? Was there kind of a substance used to get this stain essentially off of the card? I actually asked this question on my YouTube channel. Did I do it on Twitter as well? No, it's just on the YouTube channel, because I've got some cards that I've ordered. Actually, they're Stranger Things cards. They are scarce. They are numbered out of 10. You don't see them very often, but these in particular, they just don't happen to be in great shape. And so the reason why I asked this is I was trying to figure out, do I want to send this in and just look for an authentic grade, or do I want to go ahead and get the numbered grade, and these are ultra modern cards. These are 2018, 2019 cards. And just, got some edges, got some corner issues, centering, whatever. And they're probably going to get a 5 or a 6 or something like that if I get them graded. Or do I just get them authenticated so that they're in a slab, they're being preserved, they've been authenticated, and then I don't have a 4, or something for a 2019 case. And what was actually kind of amazing, 456 votes, 49% of people said just get the authentic grade. 51% said, hey, roll the dice and get the numerical grade. The reason why that surprised me is I actually thought there'd be more people saying get the numerical grade, but it was right about 50-50 right there with 456 votes in total. So that just kind of surprised me a little bit, because I think with ultra rare stuff, it doesn't really matter as much that grade. You look at the Logo Man that Ken Golden just auctioned off for a couple $1 million. It was damaged, so they just went ahead and got an authentic grade on it. Nat Turner, a few years back, bought a green PMG Michael Jordan for $350,000, $400,000. It's in an altered slab. It was known to have an issue. He doesn't care because it's numbered out of 10. You just don't see them pop up. He probably doesn't care if it's cut, if it's creased and folded in half. Just the fact that he's got one is what matters. And so I think if we're talking about really rare stuff, then maybe this stuff doesn't matter. And so I guess that's when I go back to this card. Would it have been better just to keep it the way that it was and to stick it in an authentic slab? Or, did it pay off to go ahead and just kind of get it cleaned up? And was it okay that it was cleaned? Did they use chemicals, or was it something they got off with a microfiber cloth? there's so many details around this thing. And how does it compare to other collectibles? You know, one space that I also dabble in is graded comic books. Getting comic books pressed and cleaned and pressed is commonplace. There's actually books on it. If you Google it, there's actually books on how to do it. There's a bunch of different services on this. It is accepted to get comic books pressed and cleaned. And it happens a lot with vintage books to get them in better looking shape. And honestly, it can kick up a grade 2, 3, like a lot. It can move like a 4 up to a 6 or a 7, 6 to an 8 or 9. I mean, it makes a huge difference. Now, what you can't do, you'll see like CGC restored slabs where they touch up the paint. You know, you can't do that. You can't add, touch up the paint or do something like that, restore it in that way. But pressing and cleaning, it's wide open. Graded video games. WADA, actually one of the leaders in grading video games, on their website, they have got a light clean service that's $8 for, I think it's $8 for sealed and $18 for complete in box. And it says most games have superficial dust, dirt or debris, soil, dust, and residue are expertly removed. You could argue that this Herbert had a residue on it, right? Or a stain, like what was it? Anyway, this fascinates me because everybody's all up in arms about it. And look, there's no right or wrong to this thing. So if you're on, I don't even really care what side you're on. For me, it's just fascinating, this debate, because is it, there's just different rules for different collectibles. Card people are very sensitive about any sort of altering to a card, any sort of altering, they get a little bit suspicious. They don't really like it. And for good reason. Look, you got trimmers, you got all sorts of weird stuff that goes on in the hobby. So if it's been messed with at all, then it does kind of make you feel a little bit icky. So I understand it. What about art? Fine art sales in the art world. Here's an example of Heritage Auctions recommended a light cleaning of a Julian Underdunk landscape illustration, because it had kind of a dingy yellow look to it, and it gave it a boost, and it sold for $107,550. So there you go. Also, apologies, guys. The lighting is all the same, but I'm really dark in this video, so apologies there. I'll work on it, but I'm not doing anything differently than I always do, so I don't know really what happened here. It's just a little dark. So what's your take on this as a card person? If you look at other collectibles, antiques, cleaning is really kind of a normal thing in this space, but for cards, it's not really, or it's just more sensitive. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this. I'd be interested to hear it. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.